the Acton Rec Department. Today is Monday, September 9th, 2019, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, first topic we have is approval of last meeting's minutes. Did we have to approve the minutes from the meeting prior as well?
I didn't. I don't know.
We did approve them last week? Okay, I remember last meeting. I wasn't sure. So everyone got a copy of those in their email and got a chance to look them over. So I would take a motion to approve those or not. A motion to approve the minutes.
Second motion.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay, that motion passes. So moving on to the treasurer's report. We have
$1,030 in income from soccer registrations, 150 for a donation for soccer, and our uniforms for Common Sports, 1426.55, and balls and all the others are 884. Right now, our balance is $16,808.85. And we still have some money to play with for concession and a little bit more for soccer.
Okay.
Can you remember what we budgeted for soccer? I think it was 900, was it?
No, it was more than that.
Quite a bit more than that.
Oh, you mean for registrations?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, it was 900.
Okay, so we're $100 ahead and that.
I thought so, in the budget. I'm sorry, I'm in the book.
No,
Wait, is that something? Wait, it's right here.
yeah, 900.
We had a big jump in participation this year in soccer.
That's good.
We're just shy of, I believe, we're in the mid to upper 60s for the number of kids, which is,
Even though that's all baseball. which is
Yeah.
surprising.
yeah, so this is a big soccer season. And unfortunately, I'm not gonna go there, go ahead.
So if you have any other questions?
No, that was it. I just wanted to check that I had that right in my head, that we're slightly ahead of where we thought we were going to be in terms of registrations.
Great.
Okay. So moving on to field update.
So we've done a lot of work in the last month up at the field. We've hauled up all the trash, the old hay's been removed, the broken bleachers have been removed, the broken soccer nets got hauled off, the old trash barrel that's been there for a few years is gone.
Oh, awesome.
We had a donation of 4 brute trash barrels, so you'll see on the field, there's 2 barrels chained to the fence. One has a hole cut for recycling, and the other one's for trash, and then there's another one out by the parking lot. And somebody has volunteered to pick the trash up and the returnables up every week for us.
Oh, sure.
And what else have we done? We got
Well, the field is lined.
the field is lined with that.
Well,
I am so proud of that field. Those lines look great. John Hobart took a drone aerial
I did.
video of the field, and it looks like a professional soccer field from above. So James Kittredge and Dennis and CW came up, and we staked it, and we did it the right way, and I learned a lot that day. So that's good. James also, he's been a big help. He welded one of the junior soccer goals that was broken because he had an aluminum welder. So that was nice. What else have we done up there? And then Lisa and I met with Will Langley, our road commissioner, about the parking lot because we really want to try to resolve some of the water issues that we had last spring, so that hopefully we'll be able to use our baseball field in a more timely manner. And Will is going to, within the next couple weeks, he's going to do the ditches, and he's gonna grade it, slope it, and whatever, so that the water runs where it's supposed to run.
Does that come out of our fund, or is it just general?
So it depends what he does, what account it comes out of, but that is typical maintenance, which I guess he has spoken to, at least one of the selectmen
Sure.
about it.
General maintenance or our maintenance?
Their general, because it's no different, him like your grading or ditching is no different than him sweeping this parking lot or doing something, you know,
Yeah.
for winter. So as long as it's general, normal things like that, special projects,
Yeah.
like let's say, you know, like we've asked him for a price to do the, baseball, what's the word?
Basketball.
We have to put,
Field?
the infield.
Infield mix.
Oh, infield mix,
Yeah, so we asked him to price that and to spread it for us, because we want to do it this fall, you know, so that we'd be ready. So that'll come out of our budget, so it really depends if it's a special project, or if it's normal driveway maintenance.
Yep.
Okay, so that he checked and got some clarification on that, and he actually called me on my way here to tell me, I got my clarification, this is,
And would he be the one that would do because I think we put in our budget for the rec field last year that we were gonna resurface the basketball?
yep, so we evaluated the basketball
I don't think
court.
it's too bad.
And there's no sign of cracking or any breaking down of the pavement. So we need to talk about it as a committee, but the recommendation that I've gotten from two people that are just soccer families that are in that sort of line of work, both have said that they recommend waiting one more year and then just seal coating the whole court,
Sure.
because
Okay.
it's really premature this year. So that was good. And then
Is it worth lining it? Is it, I don't know how bad the lines are. I'm not-
If we seal coat it, you'll have to reline it.
Sure, but it's okay for.
it is okay for now. And then there's a gentleman that is a summer resident that goes up and uses the court every weekend. And I asked him, I said, what do you think about these lines? He said, they still meet the purpose or whatever, serve the purpose. But he replaced the nets for us,
Oh, yeah.
so we don't have to buy nets.
Oh, awesome. That's
So I thought that was super nice. I don't know his name, unfortunately. I
Thank
didn't
you.
catch it, but thank you, Good Samaritan.
Yeah.
So I think, is that everything? Did I miss anything about the field? I've got the name for the company, and I texted him today, to do the tree cutting that the town uses
Mhm.
in Wilson, Abbott, that's it, Abbott.
Abbott Hill.
Yeah,
Now, is this the big project that we have to do?
well,
Oh.
it's dual, so when we did our budget, I don't know if you remember, there were a couple of pines that were old and rotted,
Yeah, I bet
and we were
we're-
worried about the far dugout and the fence on that side. So that was the first thing, but they charge a day rate, so I need them to come up and look and tell me what they can do in a day. Because I think we budgeted like $5,000
Yeah,
for
we
trees.
put quite a lot in.
And I think Will told me that their day rate was 12 or 1,400. So we might have, so we might have enough in there to do a couple days worth of tree
Yeah.
clearing.
Because I think we have to do the one on the retention pond side, right? We have to clear that brush.
Yeah,
I mean, that might not necessarily need a tree, but I don't think it's that.
I don't know,
I don't think there's any big trees.
I know when we were up there talking about it, my thought was if we're paying them for a day,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
we'll do it.
yeah, for sure. If they
And
have
then we
to.
don't have to try and get, 5 guys up there with.
Yeah, with weed whackers and
chainsaws or
chainsaws.
whatever.
so we'll continue to work on that throughout the fall. Our goal is, to get as much done before snow, and then maybe we'll be in a better place for baseball.
Yeah,
Because that
For sure.
was a huge problem last year.
Yeah, I mean, we cut the season practically in half,
Yeah,
And, we only used the actual field,
closing
Like-
games.
2 weeks, that was it.
Yeah,
So, I think that's really all we have for the field update,
so
so.
well done, you got a lot done, that's great.
And so then we have the well.
Yeah,
okay, so I spoke to Streeter this morning. He had his drilling rig was down for almost a month.
right.
So he's really behind. And I said, well, I can't really afford to use anybody, but you can't use like leaves me in there somewhere, you know, and so he said mid to end of November is the
Okay.
best that he'll be able to do for us. And I said, that's fine, we just want it before snow. I said, can you drill in the, and he's like, there's no difference in drilling frozen ground, I'm like, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose if you're drilling through.
I don't know,
frozen-
I don't know, but he said he would definitely get it done before the end of November.
And that's for the drill, the well count, the pump.
Yep, so we'll have to
phosphate.
do, excavation's not included,
Okay.
so we'll have to dig a trench for the electricity from, so the last light pole, I'm told, has, I'm not an electrician, but it has a three-way something.
So it's got power.
And pipe.
Coming.
So basically, we don't have to run all the way from the meter to the pump, but we go from that last light pole. We'll have to dig a trench and run the conduit to get the power to the
The
pump.
same trick that we drove that way.
Yeah,
To get
it's
up
the
to
opposite direction. So that has to happen. And then,
Well, do
the pump is included in the price that he gave us.
Does it need to be that? Or why can we put it right near the flagpole so we don't have to dig out it?
So that was another thing that we were gonna discuss was when we went over all of this last year or whatever, putting in the well, and we had picked out a place for the well, and then we went up and looked at it all, and we were thinking we may need to move our place for the well.
Okay.
So
Oh, go ahead.
originally, we had decided to put it out near the basketball court, and with the idea of having, eventually, hopefully having a bathroom right near there somewhere. We wanted to keep the well near the bathroom.
Makes sense.
But then when looking at it with people who know more than I do, they said that you don't want to put a septic system out there because you're getting close to wetlands or
Yes,
something
true,
of the
yes.
sort. So we have to kind of go up there and maybe we even need to talk to Ken Paul and see where he would say is the best place to put it.
Okay.
Because ideally, we want the pump near the ice rink, but we also want it
Well,
kind
I
of
mean-
near the bathrooms as well.
Yeah, I mean, the ice rink thing, as long as we can get a hose from it to
Right.
the ice rink, that's not a big deal, but it's,
The only problem would be running a hose when the weather's that cold.
yeah, I don't think, I mean, as long as the water's running, I don't think it's gonna freeze. So you're gonna do is put a millimetre of top on it and it's frozen immediately. I think if it's on a, and you can buy special more insulated hoses anyway. So I don't think that would necessarily be a
So, the price that Streeters had given us was 4,000, we budgeted 7,000.
Mhm.
So we have an extra $3,000 in there for the excavation and the electric. And then also, the pump is included in that, but the fixture, whatever we use to actually turn on the
Mhm.
faucet, whatever, that's probably gonna be an extra, and that might be a little bit
Yeah, 'cause
more
that's-
expensive, because we want the one that has the valve that all the water goes back down to the end, so it won't
Exactly,
freeze.
yeah, it's the frost.
But he knows exactly what we need, and he's
Sure.
confident that we can do the whole project for that.
Alright, okay, that's great.
It'll just, like I said, and I've already spoken to Will about digging the trench, because he'll give us a good deal.
So is the plan to meet up with planning then to decide potentially, if we were gonna put a bathroom in there, where would be the best place so then we can?
Yeah?
I can do that. I can meet with,
Okay.
schedule a meeting with.
Yeah, and then we can vote in October on it, and then we'll still be, at our October meeting, and we'll still be good for
Yeah,
November installation.
Can we see if they have any type of the valve,
I still
whatever
by
it
the
is
way,
that
that I
has
can-
the drinking faucet
Yeah.
on it?
Yeah.
it is still an offer, by the way, that I will happily donate that compost in to it if
Okay.
if you
Oh,
guys
okay.
want it. Because then we don't need water to it, but it is only one, and I don't know what capacity that would, I don't think you want it overflowing, basically. But I'm happy to donate it if there's a building that just needs a vent stack.
So I will meet with Ken, I'll email him tomorrow and meet with him just as soon as I can, and then I'll send out an email to everyone, letting you know what he says. Is that it on the well?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Is number 6 not needed anymore?
Well, I put that on there originally because our grill was in at Lowe's and we needed somebody to pick it up, but our town administrator was kind enough to grab it tonight for us
Awesome.
while she was at Walmart. So we don't need that, so that's a good point.
So do we have the grill and the hot dog?
Yes, well, the next thing, we'll go over it.
Number 7, concession update.
So, we had a volunteer go in and clean our concession stand out for us and organize it, and it looks phenomenal. It
We have
was,
shelves in there now, right?
yeah, and then Dennis built us a counter and shelves.
Wonderful.
And he's just got one little piece left to put for the cash register and extend that front counter a little bit, and he'll do that probably soon, before our game on Saturday.
Nice.
We have ordered our popcorn maker, our griddle, our hot dog steamer, a couple other, a toaster, a microwave. Raquel and I started to develop our menu. It's gonna be, breakfast sandwiches,
Are you
and
just gonna get like the pre-done microwave ones?
no,
You're
we're
really
gonna
do
cook
it.
them.
They're really, really making.
We're gonna make them. So, we got a little more petty cash this time for our concession stand. We usually get 100, we took 200, this time because, and we got our refrigerator and our freezer now. So we can buy
It's
in
like,
bulk.
wow, just on the canvas.
Yeah, so we're gonna buy in bulk. Raquel suggested that I go to Aldi in Dover because you can get those types of things a lot cheaper there.
Yep.
So I'm going there to get all the stuff, and she's just giving me my shopping list. It's gonna be a full menu, and it's gonna be super exciting, and on all the kids' schedules, I'm putting like a highlighted thing at the bottom, check out our new concession menu, so hopefully we do all right.
I think what you should do is when you know there's one of the fundraiser breakfasts here, is just reach out to people, because there's always time for it. We went home with, I think, 4 huge bags of patties,
Oh, yeah,
because we couldn't leave them here, and people donated too many.
okay,
So it's worthwhile just checking with them when they
Yeah.
get them.
Don't forget about the electricity.
yeah, yes, so in the concession stand, when we had our lighting installed, we ended up running out of money, so we only have one outlet in the concession stand. So that is a problem, because you can't plug everything into one outlet. I need like probably minimum of a total of 4 to be able to run everything,
Yeah, we figured one
one on each side.
we wanted
Yeah.
to do 2 on each side.
Yeah, so, we didn't budget money for that this year, because we didn't realize we were gonna need it. So we did, find a licensed electrician that is willing to do the installation if we provide the materials. So I would like to take a vote that Lisa was going to check for materials because her dad's a retired electrician and he has a lot of stuff still. So she was gonna check and see if he had the actual materials that we need. If not, I would like permission to spend like $100 out of the concession budget, because we're way below what we budgeted to spend on the concession stand.
Yeah, I mean, it is on the concession stand, so I think
It
it's
is.
almost kind of in the same budget line item as it stands
Oh,
out.
so- okay, so we don't need to vote.
I would say so. No, I wouldn't mind.
It's only gonna be $100.
I don't know.
Lisa, whatever your father doesn't have, I'll supply, you don't have to buy anything.
Okay, well, there we go. So,
I might have
okay.
some stuff down in the basement too.
I think I had some of that hanging around that
Yeah.
I could bring, but I don't know if that's be a special thing.
I know when I was kind of just talking about it, with my dad, about how, we got electricity, but we only have one outlet, he said, well, come and look in the shed, because I have just tons of stuff hanging around in there, I just have to go and do it.
Okay, so we're gonna chase everybody that said they would donate, because I wanna get the outlets put in like now. So, yeah, I do not wanna have to resort to a power strip, because it's not safe. Yeah. But I think that's it for concessions. I'm really excited. We found a banner, that says Acton Concessions when we were cleaning. So it's this big banner that you can
Where did you
hang,
find that?
in a bin.
Down there.
When the women's dropped everything off in the gym,
Oh, I was in there.
when Lisa and I went to clean that, I was like, what is this? We pulled out, it's a big 4-foot concession bin.
What, under the window?
It has the eye things that you can tie it, yeah, very exciting. So, and we have Lori, Lisa, myself, and Raquel will be bonded before the first game. I'm done, Lisa's done, her and Raquel are almost done.
Okay, so on to sponsors and fundraising.
So we have collected money for one
Mine was
sponsor.
in-
John will turn his in by the end of the week. Will you follow up with the Hobarts? John had said that he would, their company would sponsor
165, is it?
150.
150.
150.
So there's a form to fill out and then just the money, you can either bring it up to town hall or you can give it to one of us. You'll probably bring it up to
Yeah,
town hall.
I'm just trying to corner, so.
But John can, once you want it, we can give it to you. And I asked Lisa to put a cutoff point for that because I have to get the water bottles printed.
Sure.
And it's gonna take some time and I don't wanna get too far into the season for that. So Friday's the cutoff for sponsors. The water bottles are gonna cost, it'll be about $110 for 100 water bottles. Sue Reed has offered to do the vinyl things to go on the water bottles at cost or just a tiny bit, I don't wanna say at cost, I don't wanna speak for her, but at a discounted rate for us. And then when I met with her to talk about that, she also came up with a great idea of fan gear, because she can do screen printed? No, not screen printing. The other shirts, like what we had for baseball with the vinyl letters.
Yep.
She can do those, so she's gonna come up with some stuff like travel mugs, t-shirts like Soccer Mom or Acton Soccer, or she can do custom orders, plus we'll have some pre-made for sale in the concession stand. And those are gonna be, again, at an extreme discount so that we can use it to make money, to help boost our concession money.
Yeah, the only worry, I mean, it's fine if she's able to do just a small quantity like ones and twos of these.
Yes.
The difficulty is, I think we already have some in storage right there, years old, because somebody ordered like loads of
Yeah,
So I
odd
think,
sizes and
yeah,
stuff.
I think the thought is to have a couple of whatever we decide to offer, maybe a
Yeah.
couple shirts, a couple mugs, whatever, to sell at the concession
Yeah.
stand, and then potentially do.
We're gonna have an order form.
Yeah, exactly, that's perfect. Yeah, just a couple of almost like display
Yeah.
examples, that'd be great.
exactly,
Yeah.
that's exactly what she had in mind.
Where in storage is the other stuff?
I'm sure I've
They
seen.
are so old, I think we threw them away.
We disposed of them,
They
they
were
were gray,
very
well,
old.
no, they were gray
That's really great, yeah.
and yellow tinted, you know what I mean, like nobody would ever, and it's like, why would you pay money to bleach it, you know, like maybe we could have given them away, but,
Were the yellow
They were
tinted
kind of-
before they went into the shed?
well, I don't think it was discoloration by air, let's just say that. So I wasn't washing them.
So, while we're on fundraising, is that the fundraiser we're gonna do for soccer?
No, I'm sorry. Also, this weekend, I will have free to hand out at the game. It's, I don't know if you wanna call it a kick-a-thon, or what you wanna call it, but it's gonna be a direct goal kick thing, and the kids will get sponsors just like the hit-a-thon, because the hit-a-thon was a huge success, and we made like $1,200 or $1,300 on the baseball hit-a-thon, and so we're really driving to.
Like a spot kit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
depending on the age of the kid, how far away it is. Still trying to work out all the details. So we're gonna do that as well.
Okay, good. So photographer,
Okay, so we've always used Twombly. Katie Dunham has her own business as a photographer. She lives in town. She's reached out to the rec numerous times. She kind of got me yesterday and was like, listen, I feel my husband and I coach, we used to be members of the rec, we've given a lot to this community, I really appreciate the opportunity to, be your photographer. So I said, send me something, so that I can show the committee and all of you, I sent it on Facebook Messenger to you.
Wasn't
There were 2
It was
attachments.
retiring, wasn't it?
his grandson took over.
Yeah, so it's
That's
not,
who actually did baseball.
Right, yeah.
so, excuse me, she sent a welcome letter, that just basically, read it to you, because you don't pull it up, but, she just said, I invited her to come tonight to talk to us, but she already had a senior photo session booked. So she couldn't be here, but this first thing will introduce herself, and basically she's lived in Acton 18 years, her girls came up through the school, they used to coach soccer and other sports, she's on the board of trustees for the library, all kinds of other stuff for volunteering. She really, there's a couple of sample pictures there. I've seen her work, she does a phenomenal job. So the other attachment that she sent is her pricing. And if there's something, this is a sample envelope that she uses for Cub Scouts. The pricing is very similar to, almost to the dollar, I think, to the other company that we've been using. And there's a couple things that are usually offered that aren't on here, but she did tell me that if there's something that we're used to getting that isn't on here, she would do it for us if possible. The only other thing I need to figure out, we get a small commission from Twombly. It's usually between $58 and $70. This baseball, of course, because it's the biggest participation, we got more from that. So I expect about the same for soccer. Here, I need to ask her about the plaques, because we give our sponsors plaques with a team photo. Is that something that she could source for us? You know, like a couple of those kinds of questions. But before I waste her time, you know, I want to know if this committee, if she can meet all those needs, are you okay with giving her a try for soccer and changing companies?
We don't have a contract with them.
No.
No, I mean, I think now's almost the time that you would do it. As I say, if you've been with Formula a long time, I understand that with somebody, the other person still has a relationship, then let's have an ongoing relationship with the rep anyway. So I wouldn't have a problem with certainly.
We haven't had a relationship with Tom.
We have, but now he's retired. It's his grandson's taking it.
His grandson's taking over the business, so if we were going to change, now would be the time.
Well, we'll certainly get an easier chance to.
I just want to make sure that the prices are.
Yeah, did you see the envelope?
No, I'm just trying.
Okay.
I just didn't see that.
So the memory mate, this is an example, the memory mate is $13, and that's what I always get, and I really think that's what I pay now. You know, so it's within $1. The thing that I saw that wasn't on there is I always get a magnet from my mom, there it's on there. So I need to make sure she can make magnets, because I'm not the only, I can't be the only person that looks forward to those magnets. So I wanna make sure she can do that, and then, like I said, I wanna make sure that she's willing to give us a small commission, whatever it is that Twombly's does.
What's that?
It should be the trading cards.
I don't think I said those on there. Yeah, I'll check on that too. Trading cards, magnets, and then the commission and the plaques. Those are the 4 things that I was gonna make sure that she could do for us.
Sure.
So then I guess we would be looking for a motion to allow Carol to potentially move forward with this.
I'll make a motion that Carol investigates with the new photographer to find out if she can produce all the things that we need before making a change.
And if she can. See, my concern is our next meeting
Yeah,
might be too late to
Yes,
vote on
correct.
it again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, are the prices comparable? That's
See, and from what I saw, it looked like
It
within
looked-
$1.
pretty close.
Yeah, some are probably the same, some give or take $1.
Okay, so I'd make a motion that Carol investigate with the new photographer that she can provide all the items that we need, and if so, move forward with the new photographer.
Does anybody second that? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Good. Soccer update, Carol, you're doing a
Busy
lot of
girl.
talking tonight.
Sorry. I'm trying to keep it short though. Soccer update, now this is like my biggest one, I'm sorry guys. Soccer has taken off. I feel that it's had a really good start. I haven't heard a lot of negativity. I mean, with anything you're going to get feedback. You know, sometimes positive criticism, constructive criticism. You know, and I welcome that. And I've gotten a couple of things from a few parents. But as a whole, I feel like we have a great group of coaches this year. Huge turnout. People are ecstatic with the games. being able to play other towns. There's a lot of changes, that we're trying to adjust to with rules, the biggest being the first and second grade group. Lisa will be going to the next practice for you, and because she has probably, her and John are the most experienced with soccer. You have a really big group, and I want her to help develop like a plan for that practice, because it is a big group and it's hard. I was there tonight, and when I got here, I said to Lisa, those guys have their hands full, and it's not anything against, whatever, but it's hard. So
That was the
she's,
first time really.
yes,
playing
that you
against
had
each other.
everybody.
Nobody had no idea.
Yeah, no, and it's, so I think you just, to have another person come, I think that will be all you need, for that extra set of hands.
Yeah, I did too.
So I think that's, yeah. So that team is split. Lori is splitting it. I've asked her to do it. I don't know those kids. She does. She knows, I gave her, you had a couple of requests of kids that you'd like to see the same. So she knows those, and she's gonna split those and for me, because I don't know those kids at all.
So you're gonna split them
Into two teams.
essentially into two teams?
They're gonna do it like they did last year. They're gonna practice together so that they can still scrimmage against each other every week. But when we play Wakefield, they have two teams that age, so it makes no sense to have two. And that age plays 4x4, only 4 kids on the field at a time. So if you had an 18-child team, that would be very boring for the kids. So by splitting that, you'll have like one set of subs for each, and it'll be, I think that'll work. And the other teams, we don't usually turn anybody away, but I can't take any more 3rd or 4th graders. So if anybody were to come forward late, I wouldn't be able to take them.
So without film, wow, that's
Yeah.
great.
Stop it. The registration starts at this point.
Yeah, the only one, so that's what I wanted to ask is, I got another pre-K kid today,
First
and
and second grade.
second grader today.
Okay.
And then I would like the committee's permission to cut it off. All other towns cut off. I know we have a pretty, it's not in writing anywhere, but we have a pretty strong philosophy that, no child gets left behind type of thing. However, it was a hindrance this year, getting so many late kids, because when I pick up those uniforms, I'm not confident I have them for every kid.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It was a big difference from when we ordered uniforms, we had 40 kids, to now we have almost,
That almost double.
double.
Yeah.
60 here?
So I would like to know that you guys are okay with me turning kids away.
Yeah, I think so now. We're,
Second week.
we're only a few days away from the first game.
We had originally, I'm not sure if it was last meeting or the meeting before, talked about allowing for the first week of school.
Okay.
And then after that, because are you pre-K kindergarten?
First and second.
First and second, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Pre-K kindergarten sounds pretty big.
Well, it's 2
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah, but
One team now has 10.
mine,
No, you're the big one. I think you have 12.
they're 12.
And she had 9, and now she has 10.
All right, great.
So you can't take any more 3rd and 4th, and then my team's pretty big too.
Yeah.
So I would agree, absolutely.
Thank you.
We're full.
So that was the biggest thing. Game schedule's set. The only one that's been handed out so far is, I'm gonna come to practices this week and give them to the coaches. And I gave first and second theirs tonight. So I think it's gonna be fun. We're playing all over the place, so
I
that's
know the
good.
kids are
Well,
super excited.
You got,
We
the
got
older
really
kids are
good
playing
stuff.
all over the place. First and second is only playing Wakefield.
Yeah,
The kids are super excited about playing other teams this year. They're
So-
through the roof.
there's 2 philosophies. Wakefield, they do play games with their first and second graders. Lebanon doesn't, so that's why the first and second grade team got less games. But they're big enough that they'll be able to play every Saturday against each other, which is good. And it's nice they get a couple games against other towns so that they'll be ready when they move up. It's
And is it,
a progression.
and the home and away games?
Yes, home and away for the older kids. So the 3rd and 4th graders have, I think, 2 games against Wakefield and 6 against Lebanon.
Great.
Half and half, home and away on all of them. And then these guys have 2 against Wakefield And then they have 2 double headers in London, one at home, one away.
You'll be busy in that parking lot down the rec field.
Yes, it is.
So we can just move right into soccer closing ceremonies.
Yep, so now that I have my final number, I can order the medals. So I'll place that order and
Did we decide when we're soccer?
yes, October 24th is the last day of soccer. It's a little later than normal, I believe, but that's when the other towns that we're playing against, that's the last game. So my thought is the only one that's committed to a game that day is the 3rd and 4th graders. So my thought is on the
Thursday?
26th.
Yeah, that's a Thursday, October 24th.
Did I make a typo? No, the 26th. Did I say 24th? I'm sorry. 26th. I don't have glasses on. I'm looking at Lori's game schedule over there. Sorry. The 26th. My thought is just to let the 3rd and 4th graders go play their game in Lebanon, and then whatever is a reasonable time for them to get back to the field, that would be the time when we do our closing.
Okay.
That's what my plan is.
How late are the Lebanon games usually?
It's an 11:15 game, I believe. So, oh, I've got my schedule.
And what's Columbus Day is before that, correct?
Yeah, it's an 11:15, but it's in North Berwick, so 11:15. So I was thinking maybe they could be back by like 1:30. We could do the closing at 1:30. And that way, if that is the same day as trunk or treat, because it may be,
Oh,
it won't be
I think
the same time.
What's that?
It's usually the weekend before.
yeah, we can
Before
follow.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween falls on a
That is-
Saturday,
No, Thursday this year.
26th. Oh, no, it's Friday.
Thursday?
Well,
Thursday?
I can't remember.
Okay, so yeah, trunk or treat will be that day, but there's really nothing I can do about it.
Unless we did
I
it on a
think
Sunday.
you closed it on trunk or treat day last year.
Yeah, you do?
I think we did.
I think you might be, actually, I think you're right.
Because I think we went.
I do
back
remember
to
that
the very
now.
last
I remember
time.
it.
It won't go more
Yeah.
than.
Oh, wait, we didn't have that whole trunk.
Yeah.
So do you have anything planned yet for closing ceremonies?
So I'm,
I'm trunk or treat last year.
so I referred to the fact that, and John doesn't know this yet, John Hobart, but I referred to the fact that he used his drone and took some aerial footage. And I said, oh, that's so cool, can you send it to me so I can share it on the rec page? And he said, no, I won't, because we're gonna do we're gonna try to do like a highlight video
Mm.
of the soccer season for you. I really wanna try to incorporate that into our closing ceremony if in fact it happens.
If there was a way we could get our hands on like a projector.
I was gonna say, I know a few people
Well,
that
I have a projector. The difficulty is you're just not going to be able to see it at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on
Right.
an afternoon.
I know a few people, I think, that have the pop-up screen
Mm-hmm.
that go like backyard movies.
I think it'll be, I think it's just
Yeah,
really
to
been
see
struggling with light.
Yeah.
Unless it's dark, it's so hard to see.
Unless we find at that time of the day, I wonder if there's any shade anywhere on that field.
Maybe.
Oh, my
Maybe if we
concession
get-
stand. Oh, in the concession stand, you start running.
Oh, no, no. We can't have everybody standing in front. I mean, there's a lot of
80
people
kids.
standing in front of the
40
concession.
We'll just have it running continuously so people can see it. My God. If we had to.
I'll see, I'll talk to some people that
I
have,
can see.
yeah. I'll, yeah.
If we had a pop-up, like a pop-up with 3 signs.
Pop-up camping?
We have
Yeah.
one
We
of
do.
those.
Do we have, is it one with the sides or not?
No.
We could get a tarp.
Yeah.
For a
That
tarp
would
around 3 sides, that's going to create probably enough shade to just, and you put like a sheet on the back or even one of the pop-up screens. That'll probably just be about enough to be able to block out enough ambient light.
Okay,
Particularly if there was people stood in front as well.
okay. Yeah, the rec owns one too. I honestly haven't seen it out of that.
I know it's heavy.
I can tell you, you don't want to move it too much. It must be a big one, because it really is heavy, and I've had them before. and
Well,
they're not
we just,
too
yeah,
bad.
we just need, a couple of tarps around the side,
Okay.
you know, to
So
cable
maybe,
tie it to the framework and you go yourself a shade.
maybe we could plan like a dry run or something.
Yeah. The other thing about the closing is, my hope is to make enough money on the concession stand to be able to then turn around and buy the meat portion of a barbecue. And then have the kids bring the salads and, the families bring desserts like they always do. But the hamburgers and the hot dogs, we could buy out of the concession stand,
Sure.
because we'll have our grill.
Yeah.
So it's, once we use it.
Alright, is that,
I think that's good.
That's good.
Well, it's a gas grill, right?
Yes, it is.
And we purchased the grill for inside.
For the breakfast sandwiches and the
It was
breakfast.
for yours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll donate, I don't know, I'm assuming it doesn't come with a propane tank, I'll donate a propane tank that needs.
Oh, thank you.
I've got like 5 of them.
Oh, wonderful.
And it's just like, when am I ever gonna fill all these?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't think they do.
No, I think it'll be empty, so I have an empty one,
Okay,
and
We'll
just
just get it
then, have to pay for that, it's just a fill.
okay.
okay, so we'll move on to cheerleading.
Yeah, so, there's a woman that's coaching pre-K, her name is Jennifer Norwood, I believe. And she actually will be joining our committee as long as the selectmen, appoint her, because she has submitted her name to Jennifer. And, I know that it's on the agenda for Wednesday to appoint her. So she's coaching one of the pre-K teams right now. She has experience coaching cheerleading. She was supposed to come tonight to talk about this, but her child is sick, so I'm gonna speak for her. And she used to coach for the rec cheering program when there was one. I'm assuming so Caitlin's in 11th grade, she did cheerleading, so it's been a while. We still have one bin of, two bins, sorry, of brand new uniforms and those little mini poofy pom-poms. And so she really wants to do a cheerleading program for basketball. I have 2 families that reached out to me during soccer looking for cheering.
Really?
So there's one mom that she doesn't want to lead it, but she will be the helper. Jen's super.
Ages?
I think it'll be the pre-K to 6.
Wow.
Yeah, I think in the past, they would all meet at the same time, but with 2 coaches, they would kind of break it in half.
Do we feel that, just playing devil's advocate, I don't, nothing against cheerleading in any way. Running a cheerleading program, are we gonna hurt our registrations?
I don't think
Is it a
so.
completely different?
I think it's a totally different demographic of girls. There's a lot of, and boys, I don't think, boys can cheer too.
Sure.
But, it's a different, it's a different demographic of girls. The 2 girls I know of that are both in 3rd grade that neither one play any of our sports
Okay.
are both interested. So I think there's a whole group of kids that don't want to play basketball that would do it. And
Alright,
it's
cool.
dancing. So a lot of those kids that age would enjoy it.
I know I've had parents come to me in the past and ask about cheering, and it just wasn't something we were doing at the time. So I think we have still a large population of kids that we're just not reaching, and I think that this would help.
And is that gonna be I don't know, does it run the same way as sports? Is there a registration fee for
Yes,
cheerleading?
it's the
Or is
exact
that
same.
way?
It's the same price, and then their game would be halftime in one of our home basketball games every Friday. So they would practice, it's $20, we have the full uniforms. There is potential that we may have to buy more depending, I don't know,
I
but
have
it's,
no idea what the sizes are
Sure.
or
Yeah.
everything, but
If I don't
the.
What do we have budgeted for basketball, and what's the line items?
Okay, so for basketball, we had planned on, hold on one second,
Obviously assuming that
baseball.
they're gonna have extra registration, so
Right.
it's gonna help us out a little bit as well.
So we had budgeted $1,100 for uniforms.
We've got uniforms last year.
We budgeted money for hats and socks for basketball last year, and I don't quite know what that was all about. So we got an extra $108 for hats and socks.
Okay, there we go.
So we really have $1,200 for uniforms for basketball. We budgeted for a lot of new balls because our balls were garbage. The we budgeted for some pumps, but for soccer, we actually bought a nice electric
Pump,
pump for,
Okay,
so that we can take off.
So we've definitely got some floating revenue there.
Yes,
And then if we add in the extra revenue from new registrations,
yeah,
hopefully we would have enough to cover some.
yeah, I think so. And then we have to remember too that we are going to have some decent fundraising money, whether it be from the kickathon, the gear, or the concession stand. I mean, that money is at our discretion, we can put it anywhere, like if we wanna use it to fund the cheering program, or if we wanna use it to do whatever, you know, so I think we have the money. I think it's gonna be pretty inconsequential what the cost is of
I
cheering.
think the only cost really is gonna be medals.
Yeah.
And prior to basketball, let's invite Mr. Ross to come to a meeting here to go over some things.
Yes. I'd like to do that for our October meeting.
Yeah, he has, PTG the same night, so he is in town and he will do his
No.
thing at the beginning.
It's not the same night. It's
Yeah,
only the
there's-
same night because it was a holiday this month.
He
They're on
said
the week
Mondays he
before.
had-
They're typically the first Monday of the month and we meet the second Monday.
yeah, he said Mondays he's like.
Oh, good.
So,
Okay.
I can double check with him.
Yeah.
But what, the.
The next meeting is not the bottom of the agenda, the October 14th. The only difference is we'll have to talk about the time later.
Gotcha.
Okay, so
Does he have questions or concerns about, or is this something that we have, like, what's the
Yeah,
purpose
let's
of
just
this?
go over
Okay, like general rules,
general
like,
things.
does he
Yeah.
have something specific that he's asking
I
about?
don't know. Okay.
could we invite Miss Scully the same night, please? Because she's the athletic director.
And you're gonna do that? Sure. Okay. So now we're on the ice rink. So I asked that we have that on the agenda because I know it's early, but I know the amount of work that went into the ice rink last year, and unfortunately our full committee isn't here tonight. I was really hoping it would be. But I want to try and form some sort of an ice rink committee or something, some dedicated people to work on
Well,
it.
I think first of all, we need to,
Imagine it'll be just,
I couldn't do it.
right,
Quite literally, I couldn't do it. It was hard work with me and Chris last year,
right.
and ideally it needs 2 teams of 2 people to do it. Then you can just take turns each storm, because when you get hit with 3 storms in a row, it is exhausting.
Yeah.
You know, if you can have a break, it's fine. And it doesn't actually take that long once you're doing it as 2, but on your own it's a nightmare. So really, I suppose we need to reach out to the community to see if anybody's willing to be part of that before deciding, because we have a budget for spending on the ice rink. And there's no point in spending that if nobody's willing to do it. We just,
Take care of it.
yeah, it would just have to be, okay, well, we can't have an ice rink. You know, because if nobody's willing to scrape it off, it just ends up being a big snow collector.
So if we can get, enough people to volunteer to help with this, would you be willing to be the one to like direct setting it up?
Oh, sure.
You're the only one who knows.
No, I'm happy to actually set it up. It isn't a long job. It takes 2 people. I can do it with Kate. It doesn't take long at all. I mean, if we are going to do it, we definitely have to get a line, and that's the only thing.
Okay.
So that is part of the budget there. But we need to make sure that 4 people are going to be committed, and I'm already one of them. So I'm happy to do it. I just need someone to do it with me, and then a team of other 2 people, or mix and match however it goes. But I just can't do
We
it every
need 4
storm.
people, essentially.
Essentially,
Basically,
two
we just need to
teams.
get
Yeah.
4 people.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will send out an email to the rest of the committee, because for all we know, there could be some,
Yeah.
3 people that want to do it. Let me just write that down.
And I think we need to probably post on the rep page and
Okay.
what's up in Acton.
but what it actually entails to do
Right.
also.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just, we've got the hand plows,
Mm.
and it's just a case of whenever there's a snowstorm, when it's finished, just getting up there and as a team of two, spending an hour just scraping it up. And it is
It
pretty
takes
much
about an hour.
about an hour with two people. Now we need to, I don't know how we can do this or how we broach this subject regarding the hay bales, because they were,
We are not doing that again. I am not
Yeah.
cleaning that hay up again. We will never put hay around that rink
Yeah.
again. If
Well,
we have to
that's-
sell the rink.
I think it's, yeah.
Because that was a horrific mess.
It may come down to that. I mean, because the insurance wanted us to have that.
What do the other towns do? I can't imagine
Nothing.
Sanford put hay bales around their rink. What do they put around it?
Nothing.
So can I ask you for some help on this? Kim?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you're having a tree service guy come up, right? It's gonna be cutting trees down, pine trees and stuff. I wonder if you could make some seeding out of that.
Oh, the hay bales weren't for seeding though.
You didn't.
No, they were a
I
requirement of
mean, you-
insurance.
For insurance.
But other
it's-
towns don't use.
No.
No.
So,
There has to be an alternative. So I
Yeah,
guess the
right.
question is, we need somebody to talk to the insurance company
okay.
and find out what else we can do, because that hay did not work.
In all honesty, after the first major storm, it was irrelevant because the snow banking is the same height
Well,
anyway.
that's- Yeah.
So you kind of, and it actually makes it even worse because you're then trying to shovel and you have to lift over the hay bales. So you created a bigger banking anyway.
And then the kids are stepping on it to get on there with their
Right,
skates
which is
on and
unsafe.
So they're
tearing
cutting
it
it
apart.
to
It's
pieces.
terrible.
Right.
I mean, it looked nice the first day. It looked
Oh,
really
very
slick
cute,
and,
yeah.
and cute, but in terms of dealing with it, it wouldn't have saved anybody's bum tag because the snow piles were already that high anyway, and it was just a nightmare to get rid of.
And it was covered in mold.
What about sides?
Well, that's what we're wondering, what the insurance company, if you could reach out to the insurance company for us and just ask them, we know you had said hay bales, but there's gotta be some
Something else.
Some
yeah,
other
because
option.
it was-
Another thing that you can mention to them is that we had talked about putting those foam bumpers around the top of the rink, as a protector, like if a kid hit their face on it or something like that, if we could do that as an alternative. I mean, the sides are not that high.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
They're
just a
not
little bit.
falling any great distance. If they're gonna fall, they're falling on the ice that's
Right,
slipping.
All right.
So that would be great. So I will send the email out to the committee and see what we get for a response there. And then I
post it
can
on the
reach out
page.
through like What's Up in Acton or something and just see if we can get more volunteers.
Yeah, as I say, I mean, the more the merrier, but 4 million.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of people that used the rink, so hopefully those people are able to donate,
Right.
a couple of hours,
Right.
every 2 weeks or so. I mean, nobody knows what we need.
Right. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that that was on our
Mhm.
horizon.
They
We were
can
thinking about
deliver
it.
stuff relatively quickly. But
Of the liner?
yeah, the liner is a standard size, so that's kind of in stock. You ship that immediately. And the other pieces, they're all standard pieces. If we want to extend it, we can do. Obviously, that's going to mean a little bit extra time in shoveling, but that all depends on what response we get back from the community.
Okay. All right, great.
I mean, if we don't extend it, we have a little bit of extra money that we can actually put towards more skates, so we could allow more people to skate.
Because that was the biggest thing
Yeah.
last year. I can't remember how many people reached out to us
Yeah, coming
saying,
around.
do you have skates? Do you have skates to rent? Do you, you know?
We already have some donated, I think. I'm going to be donating a couple of pairs this year. But I think we're budgeted to buy maybe 6 pairs. But if we're not buying that extra, if we're not doing that extra size,
Mm.
there's certainly way more skates we can
Yeah,
buy.
yeah.
Okay. So now we have Acton Pride Day.
Yep. Obviously last year we got caught short because we just ran out of time, so I would like to suggest we start looking at doing it now.
Absolutely.
I still have everything up from what we did before, so what I'll do is I'll just resend out the Trello link to that planning board that has everything on it. And I think then it's just going to be a case of, because we're slightly different committee now, just reassigning who's gonna look at doing what, and probably then just come back in October and really start then working on getting it put in place.
So do we, while we're talking about it, do we wanna try and look at like, maybe not necessarily a date, but a week or a month or?
Sure, well, I mean.
Or even a date if
Yeah, I mean,
anyone's
last
that
year we had
ambitious.
July 20th down.
Do they realize that? So July 20th, oh, that's a Monday this year, so.
So it would either be the 24th or the 7th, sorry, the 25th or the 18th.
Okay, so we're looking at July, potentially July 18th or 25th.
I'll be on vacation the 25th, so if we could do the 18th, I'd love that.
And then it will be the 19th as a rain day.
March, oh, we are 2020. 18th with a rain date of the 19th is a tentative.
Just to fill you in, because obviously you weren't in the meeting.
I wasn't.
We're basically looking, we wanted to do it last year, but we just ran out of time to put it all on. We're just having it today, just like celebrating everything in it. It's just going to be a completely fun day. We're trying to do it free of charge, I think we said.
Yeah.
No admission charge.
Admission free.
And just everything, because that's fair lovely as it is. I saw on, I think what's been out, and everybody was saying how much that the actual events were to buy tickets.
Yeah.
It's actually expensive. So this is going to be super good value. Everybody will be able to afford it. Lots of things to see and do much.
So you'll send out that.
I'll send out the link. You can have a look at it, and if I've missed anything out, but we were relatively,
Close.
I think, close in terms of the planning. It was just the implementation of it.
Right.
So hopefully now, with this extra time, it should be relatively easy.
So then we have the tree lighting.
Yes, and Lori just mentioned I should have switched these on the agenda, but that's okay. At last week's selectmen's meeting, they asked if we would be willing to do the tree lighting this year.
Can I ask who they?
The selectmen.
The people who used to do it, she stepped out. I don't know.
But she would still like to be included.
Right, she'd like to be
And this is how it
included.
started last year, if you all recall.
That's why I
Is that-
asked who's
Yeah,
they.
is that last year she said she wasn't gonna do it, they asked us to do it, Bridget and her met, and then, it ended up the rec wasn't doing it, but they were. So, yeah, so, I'm sorry, I'm losing my thought for a second. It's getting late. So anyway, I guess the first thing is this something we want to do? And then if it is, I mean, I don't know who's been to the tree lighting, but it's basically crafts, snacks, and a lighting of a tree with Santa on a fire truck.
Logistically, from the first part of it, that part aside, the actual getting the tree and getting it in, because I was involved in that last year, it is hell. Whose budget does it come out of? Because last year Chris managed to borrow it wasn't even a real thing, he just used the back of a risen truck trying to get this thing in, and it was a lot of, we were lucky to get it in one piece without it falling and smashing something. It needs a cherry picker to drop that thing.
So, it definitely wouldn't come out of our budget. I don't know.
I donate the tree.
She donates the tree, so then
The
it's,
trees come from out.
one of the things they did say, they've always put the tree over here, and I think the consensus is in the more visible spot at the corner.
Could we plant a
Yeah, so
tree
there's
instead
that.
of doing a tree every year?
Well, I had mentioned that too, you
Yeah.
know, maybe
Just plant one.
Planting one.
planting one would be
That
a
would
good
be
idea
great.
out front there. I mean, for now, I mean, you can, whatever, but I'm just, yeah, I would
Could
think
you
that-
talk to the town hall or your people? About
My people.
us, actually, I think that would be the way to go. And
If
then
we
could
once
plant
it's
one.
in, and then
All right, I mean, you could buy
It'll
one
take
that's
a few
already,
years,
you know, you couldn't do it this year. You'd have to do it in the spring and then make sure it's watered all summer long, and you could.
So for possibly next
Right, for
year.
next year, I think it's, you know, I would think it's a good idea.
I do too.
So you don't have to go through this whole, I mean, obviously your tree plant is gonna get bigger and you are gonna need something to, you know.
I got about a 70-footer down my place.
No.
And if you want one that was tall enough to begin with, you want, well, somebody wants to dig it up.
Yeah.
Bring it up, they have it.
So what does it entail to get the one that you got last year?
Chris borrowed a truck with like a painted cherry basket on the back. It wasn't designed for lifting, something like that. And we basically strapped the tree to it just with some
But
cardstock.
what kind of base is it in?
It has
There's a metal
there's a
base over
fixed
here.
like Christmas tree base in the ground out there,
Yeah.
and we had to kind of. It needed to be a lot higher to drop it in vertically, and we were trying to lean it in.
So it's
It
just
wasn't-
not like a Christmas tree you go by a.
Oh no,
Oh,
it's,
it's huge.
it's way bigger. Yeah.
It's
It's,
How,
It's
how's
like
that
30
30? I know, but I don't remember it being huge.
She said it's like 30 feet.
Yeah, you know, because we've let
It's
some
bigger than it
grow
looks.
for this purpose.
Okay,
It's
I
beneath
never realized it was that big,
The
wow.
year
Yeah.
all the years before, my husband and the boys used to just come, lean it, and I mean, like they did it, I don't know
Yeah.
how they did it, but they didn't have what you have.
yeah.
You know, and they,
We just didn't have enough height to be able to lean it in. That was the trouble. Which is why we had to have it.
Do you think Pete and the boys would set it?
my boys are scattered now.
I know, you don't have as many.
I mean,
I'm happy to help do it. I don't mind.
He can come and help and guide.
Direct,
as to how
will he
did
direct
it.
us and like,
Yeah.
we could get the boys, you know, if you could bring the Pete.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how we're going to, well, I'm sure we can talk with Will, you know, the other road commissioner. He used to let us use the flatbed,
Okay.
you know, then we put it on there and then bring it over.
Okay.
But I'm sure Will's got one, or, you know, the other road commissioner.
So my question about the tree lighting would be, if we decide, I suppose we should probably decide right now whether or not we're gonna do it. So I guess I would like a motion to either take on the tree lighting or not.
Just the whole thing, it's the crafts,
The whole thing. I don't want to leave it in limbo.
Can this be a fundraiser?
Yes,
How could we make it into a fundraiser?
I think it's in a lull in my life, like basketball will be dying down at that point. You know, I don't mind doing it because it's something that I really want to do, you know, and I'm just like thinking, you know, I might be able to incorporate a couple other branches in this town to help with it, whether it be the Girl Scouts or, you know, the church and the this and the that, you know. I think, because that's how it's always been, you know, for the most part, with the fire department and the church. Terry's done a lot for it in the past, and, you know, people from the fire department have helped, like, I think we should do it. I mean,
It's always
who else would it be?
Yeah.
I mean, if you think of other towns, a rec department usually does that.
So you don't
Motion?
have to have a tree that big either.
Yeah.
You can go a little
I know, but I don't see why not.
You know what they say, go big or go home.
Yeah, go big or go home, thank you.
Go forward with it.
You move that we go forward. Does anyone second
I'll
it?
second it.
Okay, all those in favor of moving forward with taking over the tree lighting? Opposed? Okay, so
So
we're
Lori and
gonna
I
take
will
that over. My question would be, do we want to continue doing it the same way that it's always been, where you go out, I think they sing Christmas carols, I could be wrong, light the tree and Santa comes and there's
usually
crafts?
carols out there, they do crafts in here.
Do we want to try and potentially do something different, where we turn it into some type of a fundraiser,
I
or?
think we were asked to do this with Terry, it's Terry, correct?
Jenny.
No.
Oh, Jenny? With
Yeah.
Jenny being involved with it at this point, so I think we should probably talk to her about some of her envisions.
Well, I
and then
think,
just
I
bring
think it would
to
be
the
good
next-
to at least let her know what we have in
Does
mind.
Jenny still want to do it then?
She still wants to be involved in it.
All right, okay, yeah, that's fine, I'll get it.
So I think that what happened, well, no, I'm not gonna say that. I think that it's important to keep the core
Yeah.
thing the same to a lot of people. But we can expand on that. And I think that's what you're asking,
you can't
right?
change
Like,
everything
do
at
you
once.
we're gonna do the core things the same, but what else do you wanna do? Do you wanna just leave it like that, or do you wanna make it?
Well, I remember
More.
that not last year, but the year before, there was a lot more going on outside. There was lots of, I don't know, these vendors
pop-up
or
tents.
pop-up tents. I can't remember what was there.
Last year we were there.
Probably
Yeah,
drunk.
the year before.
So.
They had a movie going on. They had-
Yeah, the only thing we need to just always keep in the back of our minds is that this is our inside space.
Yep.
Well, they used the church.
We
the
can
year
request the
beforehand
church
this.
Okay.
too, and so,
Last year, I
I'll
don't
talk
know.
to the girls up there, because there have been years that we have, and there's been years that we haven't been able to use their facility, and they've got the kitchen that serves a lot more functional purpose than this one, and,
If I remember right, the
I
last
think
year we
they did
didn't do it with.
we didn't do it with them last year.
No.
But I'm thinking if we can, that'll help alleviate some of the overcrowded, just in this hall, you know, everybody crammed in here, because there have been a couple years where you can't move in here, there's so many
Well,
people.
they did go and see Santa in there, I think, right?
Yeah.
That's where Santa goes into to
To the
get
church.
the pictures taken.
Yeah,
Yeah, one year they did it Santa here, one year.
Up
the
there,
year
yeah,
before
so-
over there, so I've been to it a few times, and for
yeah,
the most part, it's been here, but
okay.
Okay, so.
We'll start doing
Who wants to be in charge of getting in touch with Jenny?
Lori
said?
had said that she would, right?
Okay.
And I'd like to talk to Jenny too, maybe we can do it
Get
together. Because I want to make sure that we get the traditional things
yes, I
down.
agree. And then if we were to make it some sort of a fundraiser, how could we do
Well,
that?
I was just thinking we could do like the concession stand, but, yeah, food.
Yeah, do
Food, yeah.
Hamburgers, hot dogs, or, you can do that outside.
Could do about
Popcorn.
anything.
Yeah, we could do
Yeah,
anything.
do some
chocolate,
bagels,
yeah.
some mince pies or something.
Baked goods, yeah.
Let's do mince pies.
Yeah,
Some people do, yeah.
yep, that's a great idea. We could do a bake sale and,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Okay, so 16 is the Clink account?
Oh, yeah, I was just thinking, can we open up a Clink account so we can do the returnables, and then we can use that to buy more concession?
Yeah.
So
think-
I don't have a Clink account, I have no clue how it works.
Yeah, but I think you can just open up one through the Acton Rec.
I have no idea how that works.
Yes,
just-
yes. Do you want to go to Hannaford and do it?
Sure.
It's really easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I
and
opened
we'll
mine, so-
use those
We can-
bags
but we could do
primarily
that,
up
I
at the
guess is
field.
my question. At the field, yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's something that we could also do a bottle drive at some time too.
I mean, we could put a sign up there and say we'll accept
Yeah,
bags, Clink.
yeah.
Okay. All right. The last thing we have is just a general other, where I guess we could take in public comments and,
I just have one thing for the other. Next, just for October, can we change our meeting to 6:45 so that, our first and second grade coaches can get here without stressing out?
I'm fine with it.
At what time?
6:45?
That's gonna be tough for,
Well, we can, I personally don't care, we can leave it at 6:15, knowing that if Norman Rockwell are able to be here, we'll have a quorum and the three coaches will miss it.
how about 6:30, and then we could cut the practice, like, what is it, one?
You can always try to move
I
just
can
that
always
one
leave
up and do it at 5 and, you know, whoever can make it.
right?
I think there's only 1 or 2 people that
How
worked
many
until
are
5.
we talking?
so
One.
here's my
One.
concern.
That's fine.
With
Just-
moving times is, aside from baseball, but even at baseball, some of your games are in the evening, we're always gonna have
Something.
somebody coaching something at the same time. So I'm fine with moving, you know, the one meeting, but I think moving forward, if we as committee members are coaching, we need to be mindful of that and try and set our days and
Practices.
times for practices accordingly.
I say leave it.
You wanna leave it at 6:15?
Yeah.
And you will try to move your practice time for that one? So we will
I
leave it at
originally had it
6:15.
at 5, but,
Right,
and that would have put me here in plenty of
Right.
time, but.
Yes.
Moved it back.
We had to move it back because some of our parents.
Yeah, a lot of the parents can't get there for 5.
Okay, so we'll keep the October meeting, October 14th at 6:15 PM.
Okay, I just had a couple of things. We talked, and apologies, I wasn't at the last meeting, and I think we may have discussed it, but the sign competition.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, John. You asked to have that put on here too, and I missed it.
That's okay. So I think, I'm trying to remember back, I think we all thought it was a decent idea.
It was.
We did.
Abby, did you hear about that? John, can you want to explain?
Sure, yeah, we have some essential real estate at the opening of the rec where we could put a sign, because we don't have actually any signage that says it's the rec. And a lot of people in town don't even know we have a rec. So the idea was, we're allowed to put a sign there. I spoke with planning, and I got I think I have them in here somewhere, the size we can have, and I'll pull it out at some point. But I think it's like up to 4 or 5 feet across. It's a pretty decent size. So rather than us just putting something dull and uninteresting and trying to get more of the kids involved in it, I suggested that we put it to the school to actually have a competition to design the sign. So that's about as far as we go with it.
So the other day was driving to the rec fields and I drove past, I think it's called Acton Excavation.
Yes.
And I saw their sign and that looks like something we might be able to entice someone to make for us. It's wood and it's got a little, and I think he might know who he is. It's got a little, like roof essentially over it, and
Okay.
I think that would work great.
Perfect.
And then the sign is under the roof, it keeps it from the weather
Yeah.
for the most part. And then, now had we talked about putting like Acton Recreation and then like a changeable picture for the kids? Or are we gonna have them incorporate the words Acton Recreation Field into their?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if you did that, you could literally have a competition every couple of years, or you wanted to do it. You definitely could do, yeah.
I would think have Acton Rec and then have some sort of a sign
Some sort
under
of
it.
changeable.
Some sort of changeable, that way we
how we
have
do
a permanent
that,
in case something.
I bet we could probably talk to Dasco Signs and see what they would recommend we do.
Great, okay. In the meantime, I'll go in, I don't actually know the name of the art coordinator at the school. What's her
I
name?
think it's still Miss Davis.
Miss Davis.
That's it. I'll go in and speak to her and see what she feels could be done to kind of incorporate that and the best way to kind of get the kids engaged with it.
So Lisa's gonna talk to Dasco?
Yep.
I mean, we don't.
John's gonna speak to Mrs. Davis.
Yep. We don't have the budget for it this year anyway, so we're talking about doing it next year. So it would be about getting a design.
I think it would probably
You think we could get it in?
depend on, Dasco's done a lot for the rec in years past, so they probably would give us a bargain.
Okay.
But I mean, I can come up with at least a price from them and see what they say and
I
bring
mean,
it back.
even if it was in I suppose next year it would be out of the school year, that would be when they went back in September then, wouldn't it?
It looks like, looking at our budget, it looks like we might potentially have, unused funds from other things that maybe we could use towards that.
Absolutely.
I just don't want to end up in a situation.
No.
We're not
I
going to
feel
get in
your
a situation
pain.
like last
We
year.
don't want that.
So does anyone else have anything for the other category?
Sorry, yeah, the only other thing I had was, and we discussed this way back in maybe May or June, in terms of the rec centre, the delineation
Yeah.
up there at the rec field.
Carol and I were talking about that the other day when we were up
About
at
the
the
what?
field
The delineation.
here.
No, I'm sorry, guys.
The field delineation.
Yes, we were talking about that.
So where are we on that? I know we had voted at one time to have someone reach out to someone.
I think it was just.
That was me.
To get a
And I dropped
price.
the ball.
Yeah. Well,
So-
this is a long-term project, it's not
Yeah.
an urgent thing.
I was supposed to reach out. I did speak to, oh my goodness. I can't think of his name. Somebody downstairs. Ken, Paul. Sorry about that. I have the name of a person. I need to reach out to that person.
Great, I mean, right now, it's just a case of how much is it gonna cost to get that delineated for wetlands and what we can do with it. Because once we know that, we know potentially where we could plan a road and then we can present everything
Yes.
for the long-term
I can
plan.
deal with that if you guys want me to, and, talk to, Joe.
Oh,
We would really
that would be-
appreciate
That would be awesome.
Well, I mean, should have to lose the price for the next one.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
That's perfect, thank you. So that's all I had.
Okay, anyone else? Yeah, I did get a quote from D&M Enterprise for field maintenance. It was kind of difficult to tell him what we needed, because we are very vague on what the gentleman that does it now does. It's sizably different, but it also includes, I think, some other things, that the other man's not doing.
Okay.
I don't know,
I'm assuming it's a
Where
lot more
we-
expensive.
right now we're paying 26 and change.
24, hold on a second.
Oh, it's right there, actually. 2,650 for field maintenance. This is a quote for 5440, but
Wow.
that includes aerating, thatch lawn, triple action fertilizer and lime, excludes debugging and winter fertilizer, cleanup include pick up leaves and debris and hauling it out, which would be springtime maintenance, summertime maintenance, mowing and weed whacking, including weekly mows. That alone is $2,400, is just the mowing and weed whacking, including weekly mows. Fall maintenance would be cleanup, include removal of leaves, debris, aerate, thatch, and lime. I don't know where we're at, I don't know what he's actually doing versus what he gave us.
I think that, can I look at this for
Yeah.
a second? I think that this is a lot more. I don't think we get the aerate, thatch, and lawn, aerate and thatch lawn, including triple action fertilizer and lime. What I did request, anything that Michelle had on what our current contractor
just ask the guy?
does. And so it says that they fertilize as needed. So that very well could mean this, you know what I mean?
And mow as needed,
And it's
right?
as needed, it's all as needed. I don't think there's a set schedule, and I think that this guy priced it a
For
little.
like a weekly mow.
Yeah.
But he didn't have anything to go on really, other than what the town gave us for the other gentleman.
So the reason that Lori did this, and I reached out to a couple people too, was because of the over 1,000, we should get 3 prices for everything we spend over 1,000, within reason. I mean, the selectmen aren't unreasonable, but that is what they want. And that's something that we've paid every year, $2,450 or $2,650,
Yeah.
you know, every year without ever questioning it. So we were just trying to do our due diligence. And we actually have already paid for the year, for the gentleman we're using now. So this would be something to look into in the future. Maybe next budget season, we could talk to Brian, the current guy.
Yeah.
And
Let's
just
just get a bit
ask
more
him
clarity
to give us
about-
more clarity.
Yeah. Very hard to get a quote when we,
Well, our field is a mess. I mean, it really is. If you stand by the dugout and you look down the white lines, you can see it doing this, you know? I mean, it is really rough, twisted ankles everywhere, you know? We need to
That
fix
needs a lot
it,
more than just mowing.
but it needs a lot more, you know? So it's kinda hard.
I think that probably we really need to look into redoing our field, and that's not really something we would expect from
No.
like a maintenance contractor, but we need to look into redoing our field, getting it where we want it, and then deciding really from there, do we want it fertilized twice a year, or whatever?
Suppose the difficulty is.
that was one thing he was saying, debugging,
Yeah.
that he didn't even give us a price for, because it was definitely something that I don't think we have now, but there are a lot of ticks up at that field.
Yeah,
The difficulty is, I suppose, is if you do want to redo it, When? Which sport do you lose?
You don't.
You
Yeah.
can't? What do you do at the end of?
Over the summer? 3 sports fields, the fields that are down to the school, I built all 3 of those for softball, baseball, and soccer. You do it in the summertime when you're not going to
After
sport.
baseball.
So right after baseball?
But before soccer. I didn't do any of that during school, it was all done in the summer. And what you need to do is have somebody with some experience working with what I would suggest, Will Lang, the road commissioner. He has all the stuff you need to do to rebuild that, get it level, drain properly and this and that, which I would suggest that you guys budget for this for next summer. Because you can have your well there, and you say, to me, you would do 2 full, you would fix the field, and at the same time, have to put the irrigation in. Because the fields down to the school have irrigation. When you get down to the school, you can see how nice the grass is down there, year round and stuff like that. So doing that, you need to develop a maintenance plan. And right now, basically, all they're doing up there is mowing it, like Carol said, fertilizing it and grass trimming. But you have to have a plan, a maintenance plan to take care of these grounds. And this price that Lori gave, you see for the mowing and the grass trimming and stuff like that, part of it was $2,400.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's basically what you're paying now for that same service. So his prices are more than reasonable. And he just expanded on what it really takes to take care of a field, because it's a lot of work. And you need to really put weed control on it. And like you said, deal with the ticks. It's short money for what you're gonna get out of it. You got towns come here, and you go, I remember we played baseball over the Lebanon in the spring. You go over there, and what a beautiful baseball field they got. And we should have the same thing here for our kids.
Can I ask a question? If we did that in the summer, would it be ready to play on in August?
Yeah.
It only takes a couple months to, or,
If we have irrigation.
You hydroseed it, you water it, and I think if you water it properly and everything's done properly, within 10 days you have grass.
oh, okay.
And within 3 or 4 weeks you'll be able to be home.
Okay, that's good to know.
So I think that we don't, I don't think we do anything with changing who does our field maintenance at this point until we move forward with getting the field up to where we really want it.
Yeah, we're just, yeah, if you're gonna rip it up, you're just throwing money into things you're gonna throw away, but yeah, let's.
Plus, we already paid for this year,
Right.
so
Yeah.
it's, we didn't realize that, and
Well,
I
let's,
probably wouldn't have gotten a quote if I had known that, but.
once we're getting down to budget season, then we need to
Readdress.
readdress it.
Absolutely.
I'll just call Dan and tell him that we're gonna readdress it for next year.
Yeah,
And
but-
I'll be back in touch with him for next year, and maybe have a little bit more accurate as to what we need, and
You guys can get through the chairman and the warrant finance committee, this will probably be successful.
Okay, so anything else for other? Any public comments? No? I'd take a motion to adjourn
Make a motion to adjourn.
and second it. All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you.